Well, my friends, it's been a good run. The Game Changers program is dead, and so I am officially out. See you later. I'm just kidding, everyone. I'm going to be just fine, but it is true. The Game Changers program is dead, as I'm sure you guys have heard already. The forums breaking this news here in this post right here, and Arnold T101 has already given his thoughts on the issue. Definitely recommend checking that out. He gives a pretty good synopsis, and I want to share my perspective in all of this and maybe some additional details as well from where I personally sit and kind of what my take and interpretation is of everything that's happened, because there's been a lot that's happening behind the scenes, and now with the Game Changers program officially dead, it feels a little bit easier to just be a little more open and just give it to you guys straight and talk about what has gone on a little bit behind the scenes and what kind of led to this and why, honestly, I don't view it as a bad thing. In fact, I was kind of an advocate for this to happen, to be honest. As soon as I realized a point of friction that existed between us and the studio that is actually very easily resolved by just terminating the program, but remaining open in communication. Now, I also do have a few things I want to talk about. We've got some really positive changes to Gear 12 inflow that was announced. I'll hit on that here in just a little bit. And then also a kit reveal for the new Geonos, and we're getting Brood Alpha, who actually has a pretty dang cool mechanic in his kit. So, starting with the Game Changers program, again, it is dead. And at a glance, this may seem like a negative thing. This may seem depressing, and in some ways it is. I mean, it feels like the end of an era for me. When I first started this channel, I'll never forget, one of my first goals is, man, wouldn't it be cool to become a game changer? It seemed like such a sweet goal to me. And when I finally got approached by EA to be a game changer, I felt like I had arrived. I felt like I had reached this amazing milestone. And so I do just want to say, all jokes aside, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to participate in the Game Changers program, going on 3 trips that I was able to do to Sacramento, to LA, to San Francisco. Were just amazing. Meeting these creators and meeting developers at the studio who I've established friendships with has just been really an opportunity I never thought I would have before I started this channel, because I really kind of started this channel on accident. I just was making guides on how to use Jedi in the arena for my guildmates. I didn't intend for it, just kind of accidentally happened and evolved in this thing. I was like, wow, actually, I love YouTube. This is amazing. I want to keep doing this. And I want to do a movie review channel. I want to just keep doing YouTube. And so I have the Game Changers program in many ways to thank for that initial spark that kind of got me to where I am right now. It's just been one hell of a journey, and so I'm really grateful for that. That said, this has been a long time coming, and I want to kind of explain the point of friction that started with this, because you guys have known, I mean, it's been no secret. There's been tensions between the Game Changers and Capital Games, and it's not necessarily for the reasons you might think. Now, my perception for a long time was kind of rooted in, if we're objective in our opinions and we say something negative, then the studio is going to hate us, and it's going to be, they're going to be sad, etc., etc. They just want us to be poster boys and be positive all the time. And while a certain element of that might be true to an extent of, I think that they want us to be positive, because, I mean, if this was your product and your business, you'd want people covering it to be positive too, right? But I think more than anything, what caused friction is that they viewed us as an official extension of the company through the EA Game Changers program. Now, the EA Game Changers program is an extension of EA, not CG. It's something that they kind of push on all of their titles, and it's supposed to be an independent program that is, it doesn't make somebody an employee of EA. We're not getting paychecks from EA for being part of the Game Changers program. We were never told that we couldn't say certain things. There was never oversight. So we've always been objective in our opinions. However, there's an added element in here of, you've got a relationship with Lucasfilm, you've got EA, you've got CG all working together. In fact, when I was first brought into the Game Changers program, I had an approval process with Lucasfilm so that they could approve of my content. And so I think there became pressure on CG to keep Lucasfilm happy, to keep EA happy. Basically, what my perception of that is that they just wanted to make sure that what we were saying in our videos wasn't at odds with official company positions, with their values, etc. And so I think a lot of the problems came from that official relationship. For example, when a character releases, they wanted our content to kind of reflect the official stance of the studio, and it just wasn't possible, especially with, communication issues. So it almost created this awkward middle ground of we're not part of EA or CG, but we've got this official relationship, and so they wanted to kind of keep it managed, and it just didn't work out very well. Now, I have always been objective in giving you guys my honest take on this, whether it gets me in trouble or not. To me, I'm just a guy with a camera that loves this game, and so I'm going to give you guys my honest take no matter what. I just think a lot of this comes back to CG feeling a little more pressure because they had this official relationship with us to be careful about what ended up on YouTube. So this comes back to why I think this is actually a very, very positive thing for this game, because removing the official part of that relationship with CG takes that pressure off of them to have everything we say be in line with the official stance of the studio. Ironically, communication right now is better than it's been in a while. We're still in contact with the devs. The program is dead, but we still have a relationship, which I think makes the most sense because I've always viewed my relationship with CG as a business relationship. We have common interests, but we also have different interests. I need to be independent in what I do. They need to be independent in what they do. And we also should work together because we both want similar things. They want a good game, and I want good coverage, good accurate coverage of that game on my channel. So at the end of the day, after all my ramblings, what does all this mean? Basically, nothing is really changing. This channel is going to stay exactly the same. If anything, it's going to improve because it sounds like CG is going to have an easier time communicating with us with this official pressure removed from the equation. So I am not concerned one bit, my friend. Now, like I said, a lot has happened with this. There's been just a ton going on, and I'm doing my best to summarize it for you guys. Again, I do recommend that you watch Arnold's video on the subject. He gave a pretty good synopsis as well. Everything he said in that video is accurate. It's all consistent with what my experience has been as well. But that said, if you have any questions about this, be sure to comment, and I'll try to pay attention to as many of the comments as I can and respond accordingly if you guys have any follow-up questions on that, and I'll answer whatever I feel like I can. And then, like I said, there's also some good news coming here, and something that I've been vocal about, complaining about, is that Gear 12 Plus is too hard to get, and this post talks about that. We're actually going to, with the upcoming updates, have more access to that Gear 12 Plus gear outside of just that simple top 10 in the Sith raid, which I think is very, very positive. He mentioned several things here. He says we added some Gear 12 Salvage to light side, dark side nodes, and so the shard source, so players can have a better choice around Gear 12 Salvage they wanted to farm. One thing we understand is that there's no real agency around how players can acquire Gear 12 Plus, though. Right now, players finish in the top 10 of the Sith raid, which is only, 20% of us that can even do that, and that's really it. We wanted to allow players to have more agency on how they acquire Gear 12 Plus. Here are some ways that we are going to be doing it with the release of Grand Arena Championships and the Geonosis Territory Battle. So, 1, Grand Arena Championship Store. I love seeing it in a store! My gosh! Thank you. Gear 12 Plus will be purchasable in the new Grand Arena Championship store using the Grand Arena Championship tokens. Thank you. Geonosis Territory Battles prize box. So we're going to be getting that in the loot box that we get from Geonosis Territory Battle. Geonosis Territory Battles Mark II Guild Event tokens. We're going to be able to buy it in those stores as well. So we're going to have 2 stores where you can buy that, both with the Grand Arena Championship store and in the Guild Event store with the Mark II Guild Events tokens. And then Gear 12 Finisher prototypes will be farmable as well. We'll be adding the new Gear 12 Finisher prototypes to existing PvE nodes with the release of Geonosis Territory Battle. I think that is very, very positive news. Thank you, CG. That's, I think, very necessary with this change. I thought that they'd probably do that, to be honest, because it was just going to be too much if they didn't. And then I just want to highlight something that I think is really cool about the Brood Alpha's kit, which we just got. You can go read his basic abilities, but I want to talk about his leader and his unique, which is just absolutely crazy. His leader ability is going to add 15,000 health and protection and 50% health steal. And then there's also some protection recovery whenever they use their basic abilities for Geonos and allies, and basic abilities of Geonos and allies deal 10% more damage for each buffed enemy. And then the unique number 1, Queen's Will. Final text, check this out. Geonos and Brute Alpha has plus 60% tenacity, and all Geonos and allies have the Hive Mind buff, while Geonos and Brute Alpha is still active, which can't be dispelled or prevented. When another Geonos and ally is defeated, reduce the cooldown of another ability they've got by 1. At the start of the encounter, summon a Geonos and Brute who taunts for 1 turn. So you're going to have 2 characters basically here. And then check out what Hive Mind is. Assist whenever another Geonos and ally is present during his turn, dealing 50% less damage. Equalize health and protection with Hive Mind allies whenever an enemy uses an ability. Woo! That is going to be... Okay, this to me screams Grand Arena and Territory Wars defense. You know, you're going to have more damage there, but it's going to be really challenging with how much health and protection the Brute Alpha is adding to beat any Geonosian because of all of the health equalization you're going to have. That's a ton of health equalization and a lot of health out there, and we've got Gear 13 coming. How are they going to be beat? I am really interested to see what that's going to look like. So that was a quick summary on those other 2 posts, but I did just want to focus primarily on the Game Changers program and my thoughts on that. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Everything's going to be fine here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit sad to see the program die, but I'm also a bit happy because I think it puts less pressure on the relationship we have with Capital Games and makes it more free for us to just have a human relationship and work together and disagree and move on. Thanks everyone again for joining me for the video, and as always, my brothers, don't forget
my dead body. Sorry about the mess.